Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Learn Idaho End of Life channel.
If a person's passed away at home, we we want to make sure that as we come out to the house that we're prepared and that we have the proper equipment. Versus if we go to a hospital or a nursing home, that's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more clinical, I guess, for the term that we'd use, just because it is in kind of like a more of a hospital type setting. Um, house calls, house calls. I don't know. They're usually a little bit more variables with those, and we always want to make sure that we're prepared. If there's stairs that we need to navigate, tight corners, um, our equipment is designed in a way that, if needed, we can kind of fold things up in some ways.
And I think what you're saying is that we have sliders and we have things like that, that if a person is in a position where there's a tight corner or we can't get our equipment down a hallway, maybe into a bedroom, we rely upon, like most of the time when it's a home death, it's going to be hospice or the coroner that calls us. And here in Canyon County, um, we have what we call a coroner rotation, or if you've already chosen the funeral home, then they call the funeral home out to the location on instances where they don't necessarily need to be involved. They just have been notified and are on scene. And so we go out with our equipment and we rely upon them to let us know whether there needs to be more than one person, um, if or needs to be more than one person that comes out, if there's stairs, if we can't get into a place and um, we need to bring the equipment for two people to carry somebody down a hallway. So yeah, and I tell folks too, we're not there just to come in and swoop up your person. That difficult time of saying goodbye and things like that. So I know for myself, I ask permission from the family every step of the way. You know, I come in, I introduce myself, I let them know what I'm going to be doing with their loved one, how I'm going to approach it, and I educate them first so they understand what's happening, and I also let them know that they can be present or not present when I do that. Once I get their loved one on what we our cot or gurney and get them safely buckled in, then I ask if they want to take some more time with them, and then I ask permission if it's okay if even after they say that they're done, I just say, is it okay if I take your loved one out to our van and then I'm going to be transporting them to our facility. So that's the way that I do things. I also let the family know too when we're exiting the home or the nursing home or whatever, if the family's there, that I ask permission if I can place the blanket over the face of their loved one. Some people are comfortable with that, some people are not, and that's completely okay. I wait until I get out of the room if they're not comfortable with that.
I've also had some really cool experiences as far as being able to see that trust develop. For example, I'm thinking of, there was a family a couple of years back that I had helped, and as we were leaving the house, the family came up to me and my the other director that I was with, and said, "Hey, we have this family tradition that whenever anybody leaves the house, they always honk the horn, just kind of tap it lightly, and you wave at each other as you're leaving the driveway." And they asked us, "Would you do this for us so we can keep this tradition going as you take our father with you to the funeral home?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And so we did that. We tapped on the horn lightly as the other director was with me. We waved at the family, and they waved back to be able to continue that tradition and a part of that farewell that they had. I guess other things I think about is like veterans. A lot of times we'll have a flag with us, and we'll drape the flag over their loved one, and and make sure that they're honored for their service that they've provided, and so, and I mean, those are just two examples. Trying to think if there's any other examples of unique farewells that we've done leaving the house, to the funeral home. There's just, I don't know. I believe ceremony, or those moments or those traditions are things that can be incorporated, and we really, I don't know. For me, I love the opportunity that I have at times where you can be a part of a family tradition, and keep it going, because that's what people remember. Pepsi. I've had a removal for a gentleman that had passed away that I knew he loved Pepsi, and so before we left the funeral home, we grabbed the Pepsi out of the fridge and brought it and left it there.
We get to have that moment with that family that says, we got you. We'll help you.
And I think that the key word in that is just that time. It's time to be able to kind of say goodbye, or have that moment for the family to do what they feel is important, and absolutely, I think a good funeral home is going to recognize that, and not make a person feel that they're on the funeral home schedule, like that's,
or they're rushed, or they have to. Yes.
This conversation has been incredible. I want to thank you both for joining us, and also we would love to invite everyone back to our next conversation with Alsip and Persons Funeral Chapel and Learn Idaho with the End of Life channel. Thank you so much.